I went off and started writing the script for American Graffiti. He went off and did The Godfather. We came back. Both films were, American Graffiti was the most profitable movie ever made at that point. Because it was only $700,000 and it made over $100 million.
And by the way, every executive at Universal, they thought, we can't even release this.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted it to be a TV movie.
Yeah, when I did American Graffiti, we showed it to the studio. We had a preview and for 1,000 people. And they loved it. It was the most interesting experience of my life, was the fact that they were screaming and yelling and jumping up and down and dancing. And it was magic. And then the head of the studio came and said, this film isn't fit to show an audience. And that's where Francis freaked out and said, look, I'll buy it from you. He said, well, I don't know about that. But they said, well, the only thing we can do with it is put it on as a TV movie and sell it to a network. So I was a little disappointed. And but then they said, could you bring the movie down so we could show it to the TV people? I said, okay, but I want to put it in the big theaters.
So so you're going to show that to a bunch of executives, TV executives.
Yeah, and of course I get the big theater and I filled it up with people in the studio. And so we're showing this movie at 4 o'clock, but the word had already started to get out that we had this amazing preview up in San Francisco. And so what we did was we filled the theater with the people that worked at Universal, and they went berserk. They loved it, went crazy. The TV people went and said to the distribution people, they're going to put this thing on television, and quite frankly, the audience loved it. I think they're making a mistake. So the distribution people came in and we said, well, could you show it again? Yeah, we'll show it again. And we did the same thing. And they said the same thing, which is, this is crazy. And so they said, we'll show it to marketing. And so they showed it to marketing, and then finally it got upstairs, and they said, well, I guess we'll show it, but we're going to put it on, we're going to put it on in August, which is the last place you want to have a movie be released. And that movie made a lot of money in the first week. It made more money in the second week, more money in the third week, and for a whole year. That was in the theaters for an entire year. And by the end, it was in hundreds of theaters. The head of Fox had heard about it,
Alan
Ladd Jr., and he came after the screening and said, that was fantastic. You're really talented. I want to make a movie with you. Now, this is very unusual down here when you're trying to sell movies.